So, I have never made a video like this, but I get a lot of people who ask me, like what classes I use, why I use certain classes, what the best setups are for certain weapons, and so I thought I would just go through my 10 classes and go through why I use them, what I use them for, things like that. So, we can get into it. Very first one is Warzone. This is the main class that I use for Warzone. Personally, I use a Growl with the Akimbo 357s. On the Growl, I use Monolithic Suppressor, the Archangel Barrel, no stock, Commando foregrip, 60-round mag. 60-round mag, of course, in Warzone, it can take a lot of shots to take people out, especially if you're going to go up against groups, you know, if you're doing trios, stuff like that. Commando foregrip is, in my personal opinion, the best underbarrel that you can run. Recoil stabilization and aiming stability. All you lose is a little bit of movement speed. Monolithic suppressor keeps you off the radar. You know, of course, increases damage range. If I'm going to use a suppressor, I use monolithic on all of my classes. And then barrel-wise, I know some people like to use the Nexus. Personally, I like the Archangel. That's just kind of like personal preference. But this is a great Warzone class for mid to long range. And then up close, you just pull out the 357s. You got a Kimbo with Snake Shot. The lightweight trigger, 5 milliwatt laser. You can switch that out for the 1 milliwatt if you don't want your enemies to actually be able to see that laser, but usually when I'm pulling it out, they already know I'm there. You know, if I'm in some sort of close quarters engagement like that. EOD, some people use cold-blooded. I tried using cold-blooded a little bit. I'm more of an EOD type of person. I would rather be able to not die than not be seen, right? Cold-blooded's great because a lot of people use thermal inside of Warzone, but at the same time, thermal optics can still see you, even if you have cold-blooded, which is really fucking stupid. But you're just harder to see, right? EOD will stop C4s, RPGs, grenades, anything explosive from killing you. And then also, of course, fire, so like thermites and stuff like that. Molotovs. I run Ghost because Warzone is filled with UAV spam. Of course, if you can stay off the radar, it's always awesome. Amped, of course, to be able to switch quickly between the Growl and the 357s. C4 to, you know, check corners, stuff like that, or blow up vehicles, helicopters, cars driving by. And then the heartbeat sensor, if I'm playing solos, or like duos when duos is out, you know, I'll use the heartbeat sensor. If I am running like trios or squads, I'll switch the heartbeat sensor to a smoke grenade. Smoke grenades are great if you're trying to like cross a road or you're getting shot at and you need to get behind cover. You can, you know, drop a smoke grenade really quick. Of course, if they have a thermal sight, you know, there's not much you can do about that, but smoke grenades can get you out of a lot of shitty situations. Usually my teammates have heartbeat sensor anyways. Moving on to the second one is just got a named Fun Gun. This is what I use trying to get challenges done. Of course, I'm getting Obsidian right now. I'm at 141 out of 200. It's taking forever. Honestly, after the Scar, I don't know if I'm really going to go for any other weapons. If I get Obsidian, great, you know, just naturally. If I don't, whatever. It's not worth the grind that I think Damascus was. But in any case, so right now I'm using the Scar. This class changes all the time. I've got the dual Renettis with 27 round mags, lightweight trigger. Really, any pistol, I say use the lightweight trigger. You know, if you're able to put more shots out, great. Obviously, the Renetti, the burst mod is essential, and I think it's what actually makes the Renetti better than all the other pistols. Without burst, it's just any old average pistol. EOD Ghost Amped, that's pretty standard amongst most of my classes. I have a Claymore on here just to get the rank progression done. I'm at 15 out of 20 for this. You know, I always try to get all these done. I think last season I had a couple missing. The season before that I completed everything. And first season I had a couple missing. The only ones I'm probably not going to get in here is like run over people and IAV kills. I don't really play ground war. That's not my thing. I don't really enjoy it. If I get it done, great. If not, whatever. So yeah, this class, more of a respawn class. I would never use something like this in search, but I mean you could if you wanted to. Moving on, I've got my AX50 as an AX50 Overkill with the Mark. EOD, of course, Overkill amped. Again, that's pretty standard, except for Overkill. I've got the flaming throwing knife on just for fun. Smoke grenades, get yourself out of some shitty situations and for some good rush routes. I'll use this both in search and respawn. Both of these I have set up for the fastest sniper that you can use. 17-inch factory barrel, increases aim down sight speed. Attack laser does the same thing. Snd Guard arms assassin, same thing. Stippled grip tape, same thing. And then you can either run sleight of hand or focus. Sleight of hand, you know, great if you're taking on multiple groups. Focus is great, you know, if you're getting shot at. You know, if somebody's shooting at you with a MP5 or SMG, you know, something like that. You know, keep your shots on. Honestly, I don't find it that helpful, so I usually just stay away from it. I think sleight of hand's better. But of course, you could put on something like the monolithic suppressor. You could put on a 7 or 9 round mag, or even a different optic if you wanted to. But this is the class I like, and you know that's good for medium to long range, even close range, and then really close range. You got the Mk2, the FSS 24-inch tack barrel. Just increases your damage range a little bit. Bullet velocity, recoil control really doesn't matter. Tack laser, I use the Cronin Pro Optic. I think it's good. I find it nice because I'm using it more of as a close-up sniper than anything. The Sport Comb, aim down sight speed, and stippled grip tape, of course, aim down sight speed. I use stippled grip tape on most weapons. So that's that. This is my Search and Destroy rushing class. For whatever reason, I don't have Damascus on it. There we go. This is kind of my go-to P90 class. This is one of my favorite weapons in the game. I run Monolithic, Forge Tack Retribution, Fly Strap, Stippled, and Stippled. I love the P90. It's got a 50-round mag. Reloads pretty quick, and it's a great rush class. I've got the single Renetti on here. I don't know why fast melee's on there. I'll throw sleight of hand. You don't really need a Kimbo. You can run it, but it will slow you down. You know, if you're switching to your pistol to sprint off the start of a search match. This is the only class I'll use double time on. Of course, like I said, this is a rush class. Ghost, amped, frag, and smoke. You'll see in a lot of my videos me using this exact same class. You know, occasionally I'll switch the smoke for a stun, depending on the route that I'm running, or like ghost for restock, amped for shrapnel. But this is really the rush class that I use. And I've got my thermal HDR, monolithic, 26.9 HDR Pro, Merc thermal optic, FTAC, and focus. Again, focus, you could switch for sleight of hand if you wanted, or like the bipod, or larger mag, even tack laser. Sometimes I'll switch that out. Tack laser, I mean, you have the when it comes to snipers, you have the glint from the optic anyways, so there's no real reason not to run the tack laser, in my opinion. You're going to be seen either way, and especially for this class, the whole reason that you're using the sniper is for your smokes, right? You run restock instead of ghost, and you just spam those smokes out there. You can switch this Claymore for a frag, Semtex, whatever. But EOD restock amped, and then the akimbo pistols, just for any like close range engagement. Of course, the HDR is pretty ass up close. But this is great for instance, St. Petrograd. If you're playing search on St. Petrograd, and everybody knows over, I believe it's A bomb site, the one that's over on the side. kind of away from everything, right off spawn. You got a lot of people who like to snipe across the lanes. You can throw a quick smoke down, and I'd say at least 9 times out of 10 you're going to win that gunfight, because not a whole lot of people snipe with a thermal optic. You know, they're trying to be cool using the AX50 or the car or whatever. So this is great for long range stuff like that. Also shoot house. If I'm ever going to snipe right across the middle off spawn, I'll throw on this class. Just toss smoke over the wall, jump up, and you got an easy kill right there. Then, this is actually named wrong. This isn't supposed to be car. We'll throw random, because this class changes a lot. Right now I've got an M13 in there. Tempest Marksman, 1 milliwatt. Fuck, I hate that word. 1 milliwatt. The GI Mini Reflex, which is really the sight that I will use if I'm going to be running, you know, some type of optic on my weapon. Personally, I don't really like the iron sight for the M13. I prefer using the sight, but if you think that the iron sight's good, obviously throw in, you know, something else. You could throw on underbarrel, ammunition, muzzle, whatever. Close quarter stock, increase the aim down sight speed. Same thing with stippled. M13 is not the best AR, but it's good. And you're not going to win a gunfight against an M4 or something like that, M4, MP5 outright, but it's still a really fun weapon to use. Of course, staple MP4, or excuse me, fucking Akimbo Renetti's. EOD restock amped. Of course, sometimes switch that out with Ghost, depending on really the perks. If you're playing Search, the perks depend on what map you're playing, what you're trying to do. You know, if I'm rushing, yeah, I want double time. Most of the time I want EOD though. Usually I want Ghost, because I can't rely on my teammates. The other team's getting UAVs. I like to be able to stay off the radar, and Ghost is unbelievably overpowered in this game. Helps with UAVs and heartbeat sensors. You've got restock. If I'm not going to run Ghost, I'll run restock. You know, be able to spam frags or smokes or whatever I need. And then sometimes I'll run shrapnel. Every once in a while I'll run battle hardened. Like on Hackney Yard, I'll throw on battle hardened, because there's a lot of stuns that get thrown over in that, I believe it's A-bomb site, the one that's indoors. But usually I like amped. I like to be able to throw my frags and smokes quicker. And then, you know, being able to switch between your primary and secondary. Then I've got my car. I use this more for respawn, but occasionally I'll use it for S&D. Tac laser, sniper, F-tac, sport comb, stippled, and you know, obviously focus or sleight of hand. It's a pretty standard class setup. You could also throw a barrel on if you want, but I don't think it's necessary. It is more of like a quick scoping type class. I've got the 357s on it for up close. EOD Ghost amped. Oh, excuse me. Had to sneeze for a second. There I've got a C4. Usually I'd be running a frag. I'm not sure why I had a C4 on there. Then we have the MP5, which is, you know, kind of like the try-hard weapon. This is my favorite setup for it. Monolithic Mk2 grip, 10mm ammo, stippled, and FSS close quarter stock. If you want to throw a sight on there, I would take off the close quarter stock. I used to do that, but I've gotten more used to using the iron sight, so I throw on that stock. All it does, increase your aim down sight speed. Usually I would use the commando foregrip, but I don't think that the MP5 has all that much recoil in the first place, so I throw on the Mk2 grip to get that little bit of hipfire accuracy. And then we've got, right now, I just have a single Renetti. Throw on my Damascus. Single Renetti, just switch out a Kembo, and I think that's what I switched it out with. Yeah, aim down sight and sprint fire speed. EOD, Ghost amped, frag, and smoke. That is the setup. Then my Riot shield counter, which, of course, if you're playing Search a lot, eventually you are going to run into either 1, 2, or a full team of Riot shielders, which is extremely annoying. So I will throw in an MP7. It's great for hipfire and just constant shots. If you wanted to put the like a 50 round, 60 round mag on, you could. That isn't really what's important. What's more important is the overkill with the crossbow. Now, crossbow is one of the few guns that I don't have Damascus for. Actually, I think it's the only gun. This and the VLK Rogue are the only two that I don't have gold, just because I hate using them. But it is a great way to get rid of riot shielders. You throw on the explosive bolts. As long as it sticks to their shield, it will kill them. Got everything to increase bolt velocity. The 28 strand, the 200 pound, 200 pound arms, whatever the hell that's supposed to be. Tack lacer to increase aim down sight speed, and sleight of hand is a must on the crossbow because it is unbelievably slow. Thermites, also, if it sticks to the shield, will kill them. Amp to be able to switch real quick. EOD in case, explosives, obviously. And then a stun. Riot shields are hard to take out in the first place, but this is, from what I have seen, the easiest class to deal with riot shields. Still very annoying, though. And then last, of course, is the cheese class. This is the 725. Choke, sawed-off barrel, 1 milliwatt laser, forged tack steady grip, and sleight of hand. This isn't even really necessary. You could throw that off and throw something else on. I just don't really even know what you would throw on. I guess you could put on the sawed-off stock for movement speed. I guess if you want to make it kind of quick. I will not put this class on unless the other team is using the 725. I think it's a cheap gun to use, especially in search. But eventually you will run into a team using it. You switch this out for frags and a smoke or a stun if you wanted to. I've got a claymore and a stem on there right now, mostly for Ramaza. That way you can get that really quick rush route down below and then drop some claymores down. I've got restock for the claymore, but usually I would be running ghost if I wasn't using a claymore. And then the only time I will ever use stem in search is just for those rush routes to be able to keep the attack sprint going. And then the pistol doesn't really matter. I've got fast melee on there for some reason. There we go. Use a single one just so you can rush a little bit quicker. But yeah, that is the classes that I run. Of course, this M13 changes, things change throughout them, fun gun and the random. But for the most part, these 10 classes will be able to deal with any situation you run into, right? I can use most of these for search, respawn, and then of course the Warzone class. If you wanted to snipe in Warzone, you could throw on an HDR AX50. Personally, I don't. I think that it's better to have a long-ranged assault rifle with either a shotgun or like 357 akimbos or Renetti akimbos for those close quarter engagements. For the most part, in Warzone, you can snipe if you want to, but you can win a game and you can get high kill games without sniping. And a lot of times I feel like it puts you at a disadvantage because if you're sniping, then that makes you want to use overkill with something for close quarters. If you run a sniper with just 357s, then you're kind of fucked in that mid range. Unless you've just got really good aim with your sniper. So I just find if you're trying to win and if you're trying to get high kill games, this is the Warzone class to use. M4 or MP7, MP5 could also work instead of the Growl if you wanted to. But yeah, these are these classes, and if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. Take it easy.